what Hermione Granger taught me about writing. So I'm a very, very big Harry Potter enthusiast, and I like to take inspiration from characters I like and sort of just think of why does that character compel? Why is that character compelling to me? And try to implement it into my own life. And that's what I've done with Hermione Granger. And I've taken a couple of things from her which I related back to writing. So for the first one is she always stays fascinated. She always goes around in the story of Harry Potter, tells Ron and Harry and how interesting she finds a couple of books, how fascinated she is about certain subjects like the goblins, etc., Hogwarts history. Harry and Ron, on the other hand, isn't very fucking interested at all, really. But Hermione goes off on certain rants, and that's the first thing, to stay fascinated with what you're writing about, what you're learning about, what you're doing in life. Stay fascinated. Keep a joy in learning. Keep a joy in staying curious, in a sense. And yeah, that leads me right to the second one, which is to cut off everything else that you don't find fascinating. For example, in the third book of Harry Potter, she cut off the subject of divination because she didn't find any relevance in it. She didn't find any interest. She thought it was just plain old stupid. So she cut it off. And I think when we're writing, that if you have a story and you suddenly go off a track which you don't really find fascinating, it becomes a bit more of like a chore instead of a fun time where you're building something you enjoy and you find fascinating. I also think staying fascinated will keep you going till the finish line as well. If you don't, I think I heard a quote somewhere that the people who enjoy what they do, that's everyone who masters anything. Any master in any craft, job, career, anything, is a person who loves what they're doing. Because it's very hard to go through all of those like small, tiny problems that you have to do to suddenly like achieve mastery and achieve this expertise level in whatever you're doing. Yeah, so that's the second one. Cut out all the bullshit. The third one is to read. Read a lot. Read more than you watch. Now, I know that this is a bit, well, in the Hogwarts story or in the Harry Potter story, reading was really the only alternative for any Hogwarts students. They didn't have YouTube they could log on to. They didn't have the internet. But still, I think reading a lot is a very important thing for a writer. It trains us to focus, it trains us to be patient, and these are qualities that Hermione Granger is very much known for. And yeah, it trains us to be disciplined, that you have to wait and you have to read on and you have to earn the last like change in the chapter or scene that just makes you so fucking excited that you start shaking. It's like Game of Thrones when Ned Stark gets killed. You just fucking, what the fuck is going? You go crazy. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, watching videos also, it just sometimes it's passive watching. Again, you can passively read as well. But I was just thinking that when you watch things, you suddenly get like brain dead. You can't remember what you've just watched. Again, you can't really always remember what you've read as well, but I feel like reading sort of is more focus and patient based. That watching videos, you suddenly start clicking on everything, looking for dopamine, and you just end up nowhere. And so that's the third one, to read more than you watch. I personally had a very like big period while I was at high school. I spent like 3 years high school in Norway, and I watched a lot of videos when I got back home. I always like went to the gym after I was done with school, and I just watched videos while I ate, I watched videos. Instead, I could have been reading, could have been reading, gotten smarter, learned new words. Nowadays, I mainly on my Kindle. I literally have like made my phone into a Kindle, like my own library in a sense, because I don't have anything else almost. I have like messages, phone, different, some group chats, but I don't have any notifications on. It's all like black and white. And I have my Kindle library as the first thing on my on the screen when I go into my iPhone. And I think it's very important for writers to read a lot, to read. And that's what Hermione Granger did. She read a lot and she ended up becoming smarter for it. And it wasn't that she passively read, she actively read. She tried to understand the material. She tried to actually take it in and learn it, learn the words, learn the concepts. And that's again the first point, that she found it interesting. She found it fascinating. So picking books that spark a form of curiosity, that's probably a smart play. Do not force yourself to read anything. Maybe a person says that this specific book or series or trilogy is very good to absorb craft for fiction writing. Again, if you don't like it for the first chapters, you probably shouldn't force yourself to go through it, in my opinion. I read a lot of Harry Potter and Game of Thrones because I enjoy it. I very much enjoy it. I'm in a Clash of Kings right now for Game of Thrones, and it's getting very fucking intense. I'm getting very hyped, I'll tell you that. And yeah, it all has, like, when it comes to, just to like, to add on the third point, reading can be as fun as watching a video. It's all just to do with your dopamine and your brain trying to seek out where can I get the most dopamine from. And it always ends up taking you to YouTube or any other platform. And it's hard. It's hard when your brain first starts to crave dopamine. It doesn't go to Amazon Kindle library. It doesn't want to, let's go and read Game of Thrones. It doesn't do that. That leads me actually to another point. I actually believe that writers should like distance themselves from the internet in a way, because there's so many distractions that open up and take you away from reading, from really writing and sitting in the boredom with a page that has to be filled. And when that resistance and that unwillingness to do a set of specific task like reading, when that occurs, your brain just wants to go elsewhere, and that's when you have to make sure that elsewhere is non-existent, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna end the video there. I hope you got some value from it. That's what I've gotten from Hermione Granger, and how I'm relating that over to writing. She's a very smart individual, in my opinion, and I have like huge ambitions to become as smart as she is, and as well read as she is. Just take care.